I used to think silence was safer. When things felt heavy inside me, I keep it to myself. I would lie in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, wishing I could just say what was wrong. But I couldn't. I was scared of being misunderstood, scared of sounding dramatic, scared of being too much. So I stayed quiet. Sometimes I'd be in class or sit with friends, and I'd just zone out, lost in my own head. In those moments, I imagined myself finally saying everything out loud. How tired I felt, how heavy my chest was, how much I just wanted someone to understand. For a split second, it almost felt possible, but the reality stepped back in, and I swallowed the words before they ever had a chance to escape. That became my pattern, wanting so badly to open up, but never quite finding the courage to do it. Dear audience, I would like to ask a simple question. Have you ever wanted to explain what's wrong with you, but no matter how hard you tried, the words just wouldn't come out? If you have, then you felt the quiet power of unspoken words and how heavy silence can become. My name is Islah Kabir, and for a long time, that silence was me. Well, that was me some months ago. Most of the time, I didn't even have the words. I couldn't even say I was okay because I honestly didn't know if I was. And people asked, what's wrong? I froze. I shook my head or said, I don't know, I'm fine. But the truth was, I wasn't fine. I just couldn't explain it. I've carried this silence with me for as long as I can remember. It's strange, because on the outside, I looked like I had everything together. But inside, there are things I had never said, things I didn't even know how to say. It's not that I didn't want to open up. It's that when I tried, I felt stuck. Like my chest was heavy, but my mouth was empty. The feelings were real, messy, confusing, overwhelming. But the words were missing. And so, I stayed quiet, dying silently. Then, one fateful day, I came across a single quote that stopped me in my tracks. That is the quote by Stephen King, and here it is. Sometimes, the most important things are the hardest to say. That was my turning point, and right now, I've realized something important. The words that matter most are the ones I never managed to let out. Then I thought to myself, what if silence doesn't protect me, but slowly breaks me? Now I ask you the same question. What if silence doesn't protect you, but slowly breaks you? At first, silence feels safe. It feels like protection. If I don't say it out loud, I can't be misunderstood. If I keep it inside, I don't risk people seeing the parts of me I don't even understand myself. But over time, silence starts to build walls. It makes people think you don't care or that you don't trust them. And the sad thing is, sometimes it costs people you love. I learned this the hard way. I have lost very important people in my life. Not because the connection wasn't real, but because I didn't know how to communicate what I felt. I stayed silent, and the distance grew. That regret is real. And I know I'm not alone. So many of us are silently struggling. Students, friends, and family members. But because we were never taught how to speak when we don't have the perfect words. Here are lessons I want you to leave here with today. The first lesson is, unspoken words are more than spoken ones. That I'm fine you don't mean. That I don't know when you actually do know. All the silence won't protect you. Silence traps you. Silence pushes people further away instead of closer. The second lesson is, opening up doesn't mean you have to explain everything perfectly. It doesn't mean you need to have the right vocabulary. Relief comes from honesty, not perfection. Sometimes it's enough to say, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm not okay. That one sentence is messy, but it's real. And real is what keeps connections alive. So, here's my small call to action. Today, choose one person you trust. And instead of saying, I'm fine, try saying something more honest. Even if your voice shakes. Even if the words aren't perfect. Because silence may feel safe, but it isn't. Silence or unspoken words break connections. It's convincing us we're strong when we're actually breaking quietly. And if we let it, silence can take away the very people we are trying to protect. Real strength isn't staying quiet. Real strength is choosing to speak even when your voice shakes. Thank you.